Students, hi, this is Mr. Bob. In this video, I'm going to talk through and give you some pointers on how to walk through step 10 of the OSAC application. Step 10 is that all-important step where you select scholarships and scholarships are selected for you to apply to. But before we get into that, just a quick joke. I have a friend, and my friend has this idea. They thinks it's going to be the biggest thing since sliced bread. He's basically creating an invisible airplane. He thinks it's going to be so big, but I just can't see it taking off. Okay, so let's get right into it. So if you're watching this video, then most likely previously you have completed steps 1 through 9 of the OSAC application. So if you're logged in here to the OSAC portal, I'm already logged in. It should look something like this. And remember, if you don't remember where to log in, hopefully you have saved password and username in one location like we've been talking about since the start of the year. But here, what you're going to do is you're going to go to your application. In my case, it's a test application. Yours is a real application. And notice it'll put you in a screen like this. Now, let's talk about the navigation up above here. Whenever you click My Profile, that brings you to this sort of dashboard, so to speak. And notice, again, we've already done steps 1 through 9 in the class this year. And now we're looking at step 10. Notice if I go up here to My Scholarships, it takes me to the same spot. I'll just show you. If I click My Profile and then click Scholarships down here, essentially I'm getting to the same spot. Okay, let's spend a couple of seconds here just orienting ourselves to what this page is showing us, because it's showing us a lot of information. Across the top, I want you to notice that all scholarships are listed here. So if I clicked on here, I'm not going to, you would basically get a laundry list of 552 scholarships that you could read through. Probably not the smartest way to go about this. Then notice over here, there's 34 recommended scholarships, and those are recommended based on the information I've already entered about myself. The other thing to notice is my selected scholarships. Based on the information I submitted and largely the school that I indicated that I was attending, these scholarships were auto-added. And it actually tells me here, for example, scholarship number 345, all applicants from your high school will be considered for this scholarship. And notice it tells you that's automatically added. So you've already applied, or you will have already applied to the scholarship as soon as you finish the OSAC and submit your OSAC. Okay, and so these are all in that sort of same bucket, so to speak. Okay, and so notice this, give me a red flag here, and you should always pay attention, read closely the red flag. It says this scholarship requires you to file the FAFSA. Your SSN will be needed for matching purposes. So in other words, it's telling me to be considered for this scholarship, I have to submit my FAFSA. So again, we're talking about FAFSA, something we're talking about all year. And then I currently, as of now, had not submitted my Social Security number to this application. And so if that's you, then you have to make sure you go back and add the Social Security number if you can to the OSAC application, because that is required in some cases. Okay, so I could go through here and look at these scholarships, and it might be worthwhile to do that at some point, but I'm not. For the purpose of this video, what I want to do is I want to help you understand how can you add more scholarships that you can apply to. Okay, OSAC actually requires you to submit at least one more, to add at least one more application above and beyond what has automatically been added in order for you to submit your application. But you want to do more than just one. You want to do as many as possible. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this recommended button here. If I click on that, notice what happens is it gives me a list of recommended scholarships. Over here on the left, it shows the information that I entered already. So if something in here, you look at it, you're like, wait, that's not right for me. Then you want to go back to the other steps of the dashboard and correct those. But this looks all right to the information that I entered about fictitious me being a high school student at Cleveland High School, class of 2022, having a 3.00 GPA. And my plans is to enroll as a freshman at University of Oregon. Okay. So as I look through here, notice I've got all these scholarships. One tip I'm going to make is if you've automatically been added to a scholarship, I would hide those. So in other words, this Amity Scholars that I've already been that's already been added, I don't really want to keep seeing that because it's kind of cluttering my view of the other scholarships that I could apply to. So I'm going to hide that one. I'm going to do the same for the Joseph Weston. Okay. So notice what's happening is as time goes, I am getting a clearer picture of what truly I should be looking at and evaluating to add to my list. All right. So as I do here, notice I'm going to see this. I'm just going to pick this one, the Harry Ludwig Memorial Scholarship. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to look at it carefully. What does it say? Let me see if I can make this a little bigger. Okay, it says it's overview: visually impaired Oregon residents planning to enroll in a full-time undergraduate or graduate studies. Okay, so that means visually impaired. If I'm not visually impaired, meaning have significant sight problems, then that's not for me. I don't want to apply, and I probably want to go down here and say hide from lists, because again, that'll unclutter my view and will hopefully show me more scholarships that could apply to me. Okay, if this were to apply to you, then you would want to obviously consider it further. Okay, so now if I go back to my scholarships, this button above, and go back to recommended again, that's no longer showing up, and I keep looking down my list. Here's another one that might look interesting. Scholarship number 306, the Karen Neal Scholarship. This one says, must have attended a Portland Public Elementary School or Wallowa High School. Well, that's me. And it looks like I have to be interested in becoming a teacher, a K through 12 teacher. So for the purpose of this scholarship, I'm just going to say I am interested in those two things, okay? So it does say it has a preference for applicants who enroll at college sophomores or above for the fall term or semester, but hey, that's okay. I'm still going to apply. So what I want to do is when I find a scholarship that I feel like I meet the prerequisites and I want to apply to, I would click apply for scholarship. Notice it's telling me there's an additional requirement where I have to specify the elementary school that I attended. So when I click apply for scholarship, notice here's the requirement. So I would click edit here, and it says specify elementary school attended. It has to be one in Portland Public. I'm just going to say Sabin School. Okay. That's kind of an elementary school fairly close to me. I'm just going to pretend that's the one I attended. Okay, so I save, I click continue, and it looks like, yes. Notice I have it added down here, number 306, the Karen Neal Scholarship is now part of the ones I applied to. Notice I made a mistake and I don't want to apply to it anymore. I would just click unapply. Okay, so that's what you kind of keep doing. You keep going through this list. It does require some careful reading. It does require some time spent involved in this. Let's just do one more. The Alcott Hunt, share it now too. This one says preference for first or second generation immigrants to the United States, not restricted to U.S. citizens and eligible non-citizens. In other words, if you're an undocumented student, this is a scholarship you could apply for, number 473. Must enroll at least half-time, FAFSA as recommended. Apply complete annually, may be received for a maximum of 4 years. Notice this also has additional requirements. You have to add an additional essay. You have to write an additional essay and respond. Here's the two prompts. You write on one or the other prompts, okay? And here's another additional requirement where you have to provide the names, addresses, and phone numbers, not letters, of 2 community or school references. Okay, so if after reading all that, I'm like, oh yeah, I'd like to apply to that. Click apply for scholarship. And then I'm going to just click edit here, required essay for scholarship 473. And then what I would want to do here is what we've done for all other scholarships. I would not just want to type this off the top of my head. I would want to take this prompt, Control C, go over here, go to Google Drive, create a new document in my scholarships section of my Google Drive files, right? And I would make blank document. I would title it whatever the title is of that as scholarship number 473. I would write, here's what I would write, scholarship 473 additional essay. Or I could even write OSAC scholarship 473 additional essay. Okay, and then I go over here, I basically provide the prompt. And then the other thing that's important to know is 250 to 350 words, okay? So I'm gonna make sure that's in the additional sort of information I give here. And then at some point later on, not now, I want to come back to this. I would want to start typing and obviously get someone to proofread it, perhaps my teacher, an adult volunteer, fellow student, et cetera, et cetera. And when I'm ready and I'm all ready to do it, then I would copy and paste from that Google Doc back in here and I would submit. Let's just say, students, there's one more thing I want to show you. And this is an example of when you might want to go into this all scholarships. So when I click on all scholarships, notice what comes up here is I get obviously a bunch of listing of scholarships, but I get this search bar, okay? And this is like doing a Google search on scholarships. So let's say there was a keyword that I had about what I wanted to do that might help me. So for example, if I was interested in nursing, I might want to type in the word nursing here, hit enter. And notice what I'm going to get is I'm getting a bunch of scholarships that have something to do with nursing. They're probably scholarships that are offered to people who are going into the nursing field. So for example, this Bertha P. Singer Nursing Scholarship, you can see here, you can read through it. And if that's something that would apply to you, then you would want to apply to it. So again, if I go to My Scholarships and I go to All Scholarships, it's the search bar right here. And you can use different keywords that you think apply to your situation. Business might be another one, okay? Different things that would really help you. Also, STEM is probably going to be a big one. So if I type in STEM, notice there's some scholarships listed here that are probably dedicated towards people who are entering STEM fields. And here's one that looks like it's looking at its focus as females, women who are interested in going into STEM. So that is another tool in your sort of toolbox that you should try and use in the coming weeks to figure out scholarships that would be worthwhile for you to apply to. Notice up here it says you have the option to apply for 37 more scholarships if you feel like you qualify. So you have a lot of scholarships you can apply for. So obviously this is not something you're going to do in one sitting. This is something you would want to peck away at over the matter of a couple of weeks to create your best possible scholarship sort of roster or portfolio of scholarships that you're going to apply to maximize the ability to get money for college. Okay, I hope this has been helpful. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And I look forward to talking to you about this in class. Thanks, everyone.